Department explanation of the woodpecker is that it is an over-the-horizon radar designed to track U.S. missile launches. Some scientists suspect that the woodpecker is designed to interfere with human brain function.
As far as I'm concerned, the potential that this has for producing a direct psychoactive effect upon the total American population is there. Has never been disproven.
Dr. Robert Becker is a pioneer in the field of bioeffects of electromagnetism.
The signal range within which the woodpecker operates is that which has been reported by many investigators to produce a tranquilizing effect upon animals.
Disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system, and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. Target a specific individual, change or eliminate that individual with very little attribution and trace, and be able to leave prior to any attribution.
Hello, I'm here with Kenneth today, and he's been targeted since 2016. How did you figure out what was going on, and how did you figure out what a targeted individual was? Head with direct energy weapons?
Right. My whole head was inflamed, and it stayed that way for some time. And finally, I contacted a doctor to go in and have, what do they call it, an EKG done or whatever, and had that there done. Then I think it was the next day, I got hit in the chest, okay, and it made my chest swell up like a beach ball. You know, that's what it felt like. And I thought I was gone then. I thought it was all over.
So you knew that, so immediately, what did you do? Research it and find out that it was?
Yes, I got online. I started doing a bunch of researching and run into other people. And of course, all the time I'm doing this researching, I'm getting hit.
And even newer weapons that could render any arms agreement relatively useless. Lightning is the most dramatic form of energy to be found in nature. Scientists have succeeded in creating limited types of artificial lightning, and some think that these could be the forerunners of a new type of directed energy weapon, part of a family of weapons which operate within the radio frequency segment of the electromagnetic spectrum, and are thus referred to as radio frequency weapons. Dr. James Frazier has researched electromagnetic effects for the Air Force for over 10 years.
Have tremendous amounts of radiative power. And what you did with that power then is a matter of engineering design and what your goal was.
The Department of Defense spends about $1 billion annually developing directed energy weapons, such as high-energy lasers and high-powered microwaves. These weapons can disrupt or destroy their targets at the speed of light.
Is part of what the U.S. military calls the Active Denial System, or ADS. It's designed to incapacitate enemy combatants.
This is the heart of this 100 kilowatt transmitter. This is the gyrotron. 200 kilowatts of electricity is fed in, and 100 kilowatts of radio frequency comes out. That millimeter wave energy comes out an aperture underneath the main reflector, hits the subreflector, which illuminates that main reflector and sends a roughly antenna-sized beam downrange.
The operator looks into the console, sees exactly what that antenna is aimed at, moves the joystick left, the antenna slews to the left, same way to the right. Then when there's an individual who's identified as a troublemaker, he has a cursor. He can put that cursor on that individual, pull the trigger that's on the joystick, and the energy is sent downrange at the speed of light.
The electromagnetic radiation released by the Active Denial System is similar to the microwaves in your microwave oven, in that it causes the water molecules in the target to become excited and heat up.
I think it's satellites. You think it's local?
It's local. I've recorded numerous directed energy weapons being fired from that home and right from the windows. Yes, that guy, he is FBI. I have him out in the field with the person who actually owns that place or occupies it, which is FBI. I have his picture and her picture of both of them out in the field. They appear to be working in the K-9 division, and they're in uniform, okay?
And this picture?
That's coming from the same home that they occupy.
And that's some kind of beam or something, right?
Right. That's what I would call a microwave weapon, But yes, that is FBI that occupies that home. There's no question about it.
And that lady is lives in your neighborhood, don't she?
She's the one that owns the home.
Enter COINTELPRO, or the FBI's counterintelligence program. Between 1956 and 1971, the FBI conducted a series of operations designed to infiltrate, discredit, and ultimately destroy domestic political organizations. These weren't terrorists or criminals. The groups the FBI considered subversive included the Civil Rights Movement, the NAACP, and the National Lawyers Guild.
Advocates are raising alarm over news that the FBI is giving agents more leeway to conduct domestic surveillance. According to the New York Times, new guidelines will allow FBI agents to investigate people and organizations proactively without firm evidence for suspecting criminal activity. The new rules will free up agents to infiltrate organizations, search household trash, use surveillance teams, search databases, conduct lie detector tests, even without suspicion of any wrongdoing. The revised guidelines come as the FBI's existing practices have already come under wide scrutiny.
COINTELPRO 2.0, how is it different? Well, first of all, it incorporates all that stuff from COINTELPRO 1.0. In other words, whatever you can do with spies, provocateurs, operatives, right? And as an industry, this employs hundreds of thousands of unemployed or underemployed misfits. 1.5 million total security clearances in 2013. 5 million security clearances, according to the OMB, Office of Management and Budget. 3.6 million are confidential or secret clearances. 1.5 million are top secret. I'm sorry, I left out the top. It's in top cliff. 1/3 of these are held by private contractors. About 10,000 locations. There are, especially of the larger offices, 12,071 government ones, 1,931 in the private sector. That's as September 2011, and about 850,000 employees. Now that has gotten much bigger because, of course, of 9/11. Right? Top Secret America, Washington Post, Dana Priest, William Arkin. A hidden world growing beyond control.
Police department in the beginning, okay, with my stalking and getting hit with the dues, I remembered this date on purpose. It was August 13th, okay, 2016. But I talked to a deputy in there. Now, the deputy I was talking to, and he came off with, don't you have a counselor that you could talk to? And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? Lawyer? He said, no, a mental health counselor. I said, no. And he goes, what do you mean? He said, I thought everybody that lived in that unit that you lived in, okay, was under mental health care. And I said, no. I said, there's maybe 4 that I know of, but they don't bother nobody, you know. And then he got pissed off and came right out and told me that it was the feds that were targeting me, okay. But the new reality, even though I knew that from him telling me, he also told me that I should get as far away from Midland, Michigan as I can. So I did that moving thing, and the FBI, okay, they just tracked her from one location to another, okay? Moving doesn't help at all. But here's what I gathered from what that deputy said to me, okay? And with his reference to everybody living in that unit he thought was under mental health care, okay? He gave me the impression that there was conversation between them and the feds that this was going to happen, okay? But that these people were mental patients. So local, this is the impression I got. Local enforcement wouldn't interfere. Well, as soon as that officer found out the information he was given wasn't so, he came right out and outed them probably because he was pissed off because they
Do
lied.
you have any idea why you were targeted?
Time I was recording some things that had something to do with cell towers, okay? And
Yeah.
I was showing how the tops of the trees, okay, from the cell tower going straight to the apartment complex were all dead, you know, for about 3 blocks long. And, you know, I'd taken notice on how the trees around the particular unit I was living in were all dead and dying off, and some of them were pulled out. They were hitting that place with a lot of radiation. I call it population microwave. There's a lot of people in the public that are getting hit with it. And I recorded first on it in 2016, but I think Facebook, which might have been shadow banning the videos, okay? They were using helicopters back then, okay? Today they use drones, and I just recently got a video of that happening down the street here.
They completely incapacitate citizens of the United States. You guys might have heard of it, called Havana Syndrome. And then we went down to the skiff and we got a classified briefing from some of the people on the panel, and it was one of the most... I'm a former Navy SEAL, so I traveled around the world and hunted bad guys for a long time, but I can tell you this, when I went down to that skiff, it was one of the most terrifying briefs that I've ever been a part of.
You must have thought that when you were home in America, that you were safe. I'll tell you, when I landed from China, I literally was kissing the ground.
We met Robin Garfield in 2019. He's a Commerce Department official who told us that he, his wife, and 2 children were repeatedly hit in China.
Your daughter was literally falling down?
Yes, she fell down multiple times that day.
They were evacuated and enrolled in a State Department treatment program at the University of Pennsylvania. Recently, Garfield told us his family was hit again during their year of treatment in Philadelphia.
My wife catapulted out of bed and sprinted down the hallway to check the children without any word. And she came back and she told me that a extremely loud, painful sound had woken her up.
So they moved to a hotel where Garfield says it happened again.
And we woke up around, I believe, 2 a.m. With strange vibrations in our bodies and a sound.
Which led Garfield to check on his children in another room.
I saw an extremely eerie scene where both were thrashing in their beds, asleep, but both kicking and moving pretty aggressive.
The FBI will crush you. This government will crush you and your family if you try to expose the truth about things that they are doing that are wrong. We are all examples of that.
I can't think of a more sobering way to end a hearing.
They microwave like they were doing in Midland, Michigan. They were microwaving neighborhoods, you know, like for 30 days straight. They would microwave the population over there. Okay, and this is where you come up with the zombie thing. Okay, you don't look like the people don't come out like a zombie you see in the movies or nothing like that. But what it does to the mind is they will not respond to things that one would find to be alarming. Okay, they just wouldn't respond to it in the normal sense like a normal person would.
Something in my heart keeps saying, find some place in here. If I had it in my power, I'd arrange for every girl to have your charm. Then every minute, every hour, every boy would find what I found in your heart.